Liverpool versus Manchester United, always more than a matchup. And on Sunday, Anfield becomes the emotional and tactical battlefield. The Reds are wounded, United see an opening, but for me, the narrative is clear. Liverpool must reassert authority. In this preview, we'll break down the injury news, tactical tweaks, key matchups, and how Slot must deliver to silence doubters. Liverpool entered this clash on a three-game losing streak. It was Crystal Palace, Galatasaray, it was Chelsea. And that's painful, for defending champs. Confidence is fragile and the margin for error is really shrinking. And meanwhile, Manchester United, they've got their own demons. They're historically poor at Anfield, having not won a league game there since January 2016. And add to that the magnitude of a derby, for the fans, for belief. And this is the litmus test for Slot's project. In league terms, I think Liverpool trail. Arsenal, rather, let me just rephrase that. Liverpool trail Arsenal by just 1 point, and failure here lets the rivals sense weakness. It will also put United, I think, 2 points behind Liverpool. If Liverpool don't get the win and they lose, which heaven forbid and touch wood won't happen. When we look at what's happening in the Liverpool dressing room, Alisson Becker, he's out again. Hamstring injury persists, and he's not back this weekend. Kind of saddens me, but we've got Georgi Mamadashvili. He's expected to continue in goal, and that I think just solidifies a little bit of the confidence that we've got Mamadashvili there, and he's going to do wonderfully. And then, of course, Ryan Gravenberg. He had a minor hamstring issue during the Netherlands game, but Slot says he's completely fit now, and let me put that in air commas here, inverted commas. He's completely fit. But it is a bit of a confidence booster that he is in the squad. Now, Ibrahima Konate, he's back in training and is expected, to be in contention. And then on the wing, at least on the wing attack, Florian Wirtz might slot into the attacking midfield role. Let's see how that pans out and what my thoughts are. That comes later. And then there's talks of mixing Ekatike and Isak up front, depending on the starting cohesion. And that is something I am very excited about and something that I would really like to see. Now, looking at Manchester United, United seem to carry fewer fitness concerns. I think the only one is I'm not even sure who's out over there. But I think Martinez is still rehabilitating after a knee injury, and I think other than that, their squad seems nice and full, and their squad is relatively healthy. Otherwise, and that gives them flexibility in this match. Now, when we look at the lineups, I think Slot most probably will go for the following. In goal, of course, as we've mentioned, Mamadashvili fills that role. And in defense, we're going to have Frimpong, Konate, Van Dijk. We're going to have Kirkes. And then, of course, in the midfield, that pivot and that structure over there, most likely Gravenberg, and it's going to be Zaboslai if I had my way. And then in the attacking trio will be Salah. On the right, we'll have Wirtz in the center, and then we'll have Ekatike or Gakpo. Let's use both of them, and they'll be coming in from the left, and in front, lone striker Isak likely leading the line there. And the key tactical question is, does Slot trust Wirtz centrally to unlock United or return McAllister? I don't know. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts on that is, and also how he blends, Ekatike, Isak, that will matter for Manchester United. And this is a major guess on my part. In goal, they'll, of course, want to go with Lamens. In defense, they'll probably go with Euro, De Ligt, Shaw. I mean, they've got that with fullback flexibility over there. I think they're a little bit spoiled for choice over there. Midfield, most probably a combination of Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes. In attack, we'll most likely see Mason Mount, we'll see Mbuemo, and then, of course, Sesko. And I think United may sit deep with that combination. They'll absorb the pressure and they'll aim to hit on probably the transitions. When we look at some of the battles that will be fought on the field, I think what we'll most likely see, and let me see if I can sketch this out for you. And when we look at that midfield control, it's going to be most likely Gravenberg, Szoboszlai versus Casemiro and Fernandes. And what Liverpool must do in this fixture is Liverpool must push higher, win the second ball, string passes together, and especially string passes to Wirtz and Salah. That's going to be important. And I tell you why, because here's where United's threats lie. If Liverpool's pivot is bypassed, United's transitions will hurt. Now, when we look at that fullback versus wing play, we're going to have Frimpong and Kirkes, and it's going to be against United's wide threats. And what Liverpool will have to do here is they're going to have to overload wide areas, combine with midfield numbers. Otherwise, what will happen is United's wingers, and overlapping fullbacks can exploit some gaps over there. Then another tactical area where Liverpool is going to want to take the battle very hard to United is the pressing intensity, kind of box them in, push them in. And for that to happen, the key battle here is going to be the high press versus the controlled build-up. I'd like to see the high press applied in this one. They have to force errors from United. They have to pressing blocks, and of course limit United's passing. And United passing out from the back. They're going to have to limit that. And if they don't do that, the risk here is if the press is beaten, United can counter with pace. We know that they have that. Another area that's going to be key in this match is the attacking rhythm. Wirtz and Salah and Isaac. That cohesion is going to be very, very important. They're going to have to be sharp over here, and they're going to have to be decisive. What they need to do is get Wirtz time, or get him time on the ball. Let Salah start drifting inside to link up play. I think that's going to be very, very strong. If they don't get that right, though, here's the risk. United will defend. They're going to defend compact and force Liverpool to be patient. One interesting angle, though, is Liverpool can dominate in key areas, right? Possession, they can take the territorial control if they avoid repeating sloppy transitional mistakes. And another is United's defensive vulnerability. Though they allow fewer shots, I think the XG conceded per shot is among the highest in the league. And so that means that the shots that they concede tend to be dangerous. And if Liverpool can take the chances, then they'll win. So what's the prediction for this one? Well, I predict Liverpool will win. Not only that, but simulations and models heavily favor the Reds. The Optus supercomputer gives them a 73.3% win probability with 11% chance of a United win. So I expect something like a 2-0 or a 3-1 with Salah, Isak, and perhaps even Ekatike getting onto the score sheet. Sunday's game is more than just 3 points. It's about identity, momentum, and of course belief. And if Liverpool click, the doubts fade very fast. If they stutter, pressure magnifies, of course. And I believe that the Reds will impose themselves at Anfield, but they'll need to control in the midfield. Cohesion in attack and ruthless finishing. That's going to be key. So There we go. That's my take on this fantastic derby that's got a lot of excitement. I know I'm excited for that particular fixture kicking off on Sunday. But drop your predicted score in the comments. Who starts for you, and I'll post my tactical graphic before kick off. And then, yeah, definitely stay tuned. And as always, up the Reds.